So have you guys experienced people who are giving words about who someone's going to marry or who they're supposed to date or who they're going to be with, that kind of stuff?
I hope not. No, I've had concern. I've had a burden of prayer come on me for someone who I felt they were going the wrong direction. And it was more than just circumstances that were obvious. It was an inner knowing. But it wasn't to be spoken to the person. It was a matter of prayer.
Yeah. An awful lot of the word that comes really is more to pray rather than to speak it out to someone. I have had times where I knew that this couple were going to get married, but I would never under any circumstances speak that out. One, because the emotions of that, especially if there's an interest and an experience in my life. When I was dating this young girl, she was 16, I was 18, and her mother was in love with me. Her mother just thought I was the greatest thing that ever lived and was determined that we were going to get married.
To the mother?
Not to the daughter. And we had a great relationship, the daughter and I did, until one night at church, this guy was there, had never been there before, he was speaking, and he was praying over people. He had people coming to be prayed for, and her name was Judy, and Judy and I went up to be prayed for. And I was in front, and she was behind me. And he prayed over me and gave me this word about the future. And then reached right around to her and said, that same word is exactly for you. And God has brought the two of you together. Ooh. And I'm this 18-year-old with stars in my eyes. And I'm thinking, okay, God has just said yes. And her mother's kind of standing over there going, just so excited. Whoa. And fortunately, Judy, that scared her to death. And that was the end of our relationship. And of course, now I'm brokenhearted, but it was the best thing that ever happened.
Sure.
I look back on it, I realized, and not negative to her at all, but there's no way in the world that her and I would have ever made it. But that taught me something. I think the Lord allowed that to learn a very important lesson. I would never speak that out to people. And so I've had times where I knew it, but I wouldn't say it until they were standing in front of me at the altar, and I was doing their wedding ceremony, and I pronounced them husband and wife. And then I would say, 2 years ago, I felt like the Lord said this to me about you two. But I wouldn't until then. Not even when they were in premarital counseling. I would not do it until after they were married. It's just, I think, too dangerous because there's an emotional pull that can really mess people's lives up, and that's just too dangerous for me.